think that you were going to be able to get something else done? How aggressive was that pursuit?
Of other opportunities later in the day. Yeah, we tried all day long to do all manner of things. The trade deadline, I think the way that it operates in the business nowadays is it's a unique opportunity and window to pursue value, and certainly we did that with the couple of trades that we made from our major league roster, but we did explore options of bringing major league players in, and ultimately just we weren't other than the Phillips acquisition that we made at the end of the day, we didn't see any opportunities that we wanted to execute.
Was that because you didn't want to give up certain guys? I mean, how was it just the volume of it?
I think that I'm so pleased and proud of where this team is at and where this organization is at. I mean, I can't imagine a healthier spot than we're in right now with this young group playing the way they're playing, pitching the way that we're pitching. The farm system that we have, we've got 6 top 100 prospects, arguably. We've got a deep system. It just got deeper, especially on the pitching side the last couple of days. We've got a scouting and player development and coaching apparatus that is humming. We've got a lot going for us, and this is a big plan to keep this organization very healthy. And while I'm super excited about 2022 and what's ahead of us and our chances, we're going to continue with the plan of building for this a bright, long future in the American League East, and I think we're right there. I think that it's liftoff from here for this team, and I think the decisions that we made the last couple of days were difficult in that regard, but we saw opportunities to bring starting pitching into the organization. We've got a program running where we bring players in, we see something we like, we give them information, we coach them up, and that's the way that successful teams run themselves these days, especially with our market size, and it's going to be the way we have to do. But I see a homegrown team that we want to build around and supplement, and I think that that's going to start this year. There's a lot of help coming from the minor leagues, and it's going to start this year, and we're just going to keep adding from this point forward.
Mike, you mentioned the pride you have in this current team. What prompted you to come down here? Was any part of that delivering that message directly to them?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I did talk to a number of our core players this morning directly. I wanted to, as I'm emphasizing right now to the public, there's a plan in place. It's going exceptionally well. We've got a very bright future ahead of us. I don't want us utilizing the opportunity of the trade deadline the way we did the last couple of days speak to the fact that this is a team that is going to have to be reckoned with from now and this point forward in our division. We're going to have to scout and develop and manage the roster a certain way to maintain it that way. We've seen our competitors do that, and we're there. We're at that point, and so we want to win as many games as we can possibly win. We want to get into a wild card, but it's my job to manage the organization as a whole from top to bottom, and at times there are opportunities that feel like a step back, but in the big picture it's a step forward for the entire organization, and that's the position I'm in. So I came here, I hadn't been with the team for a while. It's not ideal when your team's on the road during the trade deadline, but that's the luck of the draw, and we can't bring the whole front office to a hotel room. There's just too many people involved with the trade deadline, so we stayed set up in Baltimore. Was able to talk to Trey and Jorge on video the last couple of days, but I wanted to talk to some of these guys in person and watch the team play.
Were you concerned at all that the message was being sent to them before you conveyed it, that you're not concentrating on 2022?
Of course it was a concern. I said leading into the trade deadline that there were a lot of things that I had to take into account with this trade deadline, and I did take them into account. These are very weighty decisions, and they're not easy, and maybe we don't get them right either, right? But there's so much that goes into this. I knew that anything's possible when your team is young and talented, and I knew that something like this team coming together the way it has this season was possible, but it definitely wasn't something that we were banking on happening. And now that we're here, it makes it so much easier to plan going forward to supplement this group, and we're going to be doing that immediately. But we saw good opportunities to bring good starting pitching prospects into the organization, and we took advantage of those opportunities the last couple of days with some teams that are either winning their division or running away with their division, and wanted that help urgently, and were willing to meet the acquisition cost.
Was that the entire thought process with Jorge? I mean, he could have been here for 2 more years, but to bring in the talent in the pipeline, is that what it came down to?
Yeah, I think with him having a couple of years of contractual status left, definitely made the calculus as to whether or not to make that trade more complicated. Obviously, I think the bluntest way I can put this is that relief pitchers are more leveraged at the trade deadline in terms of their value sometimes to teams. You got a team like Minnesota that, I don't know if they're in first place today, but they very well might be. They've been battling back and forth for the division lead. They needed bullpen help. We've got a tremendous bullpen and a deep bullpen and guys that can step in, and when we're able to get 4 pitching prospects, particularly Cade Povich is somebody that we're very, very high on internally, and think we've got a possible front of the rotation starter and a guy that's going to be in the mid minors here before the end of the year. We do it, and there's other ways to build bullpens, and we've just got to be opportunistic and smart and do good scouting and do good coaching the way we've done, and try to backfill Jorge. It's not going to be easy.
Mike, you kind of hinted. Do you expect to try to make significant additions to this team this offseason?
I do. Yeah, we're gonna be signing players this winter. I'm very excited about it.
You've run into guys who were a member of the Houston organization while you were there, guys that sometimes you've selected. So what was it about Brett Phillips to bring him to Baltimore?
Well, his reputation around the league certainly is well known as a wonderful teammate and clubhouse guy. But we brought him in for his defensive profile, his left-handed bat, and his plus speed. So I don't think characterizing him as a bench player is fair. It's more of like an outfield utility player. But I think that Brandon's going to be able to plug him into spots where he can impact the game, because he's got some tools that, when deployed at the right place and the right time, kind of make him an impact player. So I think he's a nice fit for the bench. We got a 13-player bench now because of the rules, and I think having a diverse left-handed hitting plus running defensive outfielder will fit well.
What was the consideration in bringing him in rather than giving someone like Yusniel Diaz an extended opportunity, or Kyle Stowers possibly as well?
I think those guys may get opportunities here in the near future. I mean, Yusniel, he's not putting up the numbers in AAA that we'd like to see to really say, hey, you're ready to go hit in the big leagues for a month and see what happens. And so I'd like to see him perform better in AAA. I'm happy that he kind of got up here and made the major leagues, and he's a great kid and he's been through a lot. And it's been a disappointing couple of years for him, but we need to see somebody graduate AAA before we can just hand them a job in the majors. So, we made the trade. We needed a position player. Our roster, there's limited options, and so now that Phillips is here, we did option Yusniel back down, but I hope he comes back up. And Stowers is somebody that is a top 10 prospect for us. We got him that little taste in Toronto. He's having a really good year in AAA. Is he 100% ready? I don't know, but he's certainly somebody that we are getting into the mode where we have daily discussions about bringing him up, and it could happen at any time.
DL obviously had a great July, last couple of outings, but where does he stand in your eyes right now?
He's doing fine. Actually, Brandon and I talked to him this morning and wanted to encourage him that we're counting on him. I think that as expected, he's had a real up and down experience in AAA, and I think that's the type of talent he is. He's been inconsistent, but he's immensely gifted and immensely equipped to be a great big leaguer, and he's right there. And so I do plan on and hope on him helping this team this year, but we need him to be consistent in AAA, and he's he's learning. He understands, and I think he's going to be all the better for having these last two poor starts and adjusting to them.
How much does stats go in with that for him? I mean, how much are you looking at that versus just him being there and getting more experience?
Yeah, a lot. I mean, I think his stats are pros and cons. He's got great strikeout numbers. His walk numbers are not great. His ERA and his home run totals are not great. But overall, he's the way that he's striking people out with the flashes of good starts we're getting from him. His AAA performance, I think, bodes well in terms of what he's going to be doing in the future in the big leagues. He's doing well in AAA, but it's just in a more inconsistent fashion than I think he or we would like to see.
Mike, going back to your guys' efforts to add at the deadline, how disappointing is it, given where you guys are in the standings, that you weren't able to do that?
I would have liked to done it if it made sense, but this is not something obviously where we're putting all of our chips of all this work that we've been doing around the organization for the past 3.5-4 years into the second half of 2022. This is a decade-long window that I think is opening up, and I couldn't be more excited about it for Baltimore, for the Orioles, for these guys, and it was the most important thing to us that we prioritize this long window that we feel is ahead of us among all other considerations. But as I said, this doesn't mean we're not going to give it our all here the rest of the way. This doesn't mean that help isn't on the way. It's going to come from inside the organization, and I think these guys are going to give people fits in the second half.
I'm sure not signing Mclean is disappointing for you, but is that connected at all with going ahead and getting more pitching? The fact that you had a high pick that did not sign.
No, I can't say that it is. It is disappointing anytime you don't sign a draft pick. We're getting a pick back next year. It's unfortunate. We try to get the most out of our drafts. It's very, very important to the Orioles that we draft well, and I think we've done that. We'll see, but we treat the draft as a separate thing than sort of roster building. We use it to bring talent into the organization. I think that as we have had in a lot of trades, going back to Bradish or others, we view that trades, bringing guys in that have kind of started to check boxes in the minor leagues, stayed healthy for a couple of years, as a good opportunity to bring pitching talent into the organization, and so that's what we did at the trade deadline.
Is there any update on Grayson at all, how he's doing?
Yeah, he's throwing. It's going well. I think he's out to like 120 feet on flat ground, and he feels really good. I still do not have a timetable, but I would probably increase our desire to get him onto a game mound before the year's over than at the initial time that I made the announcement of his injury. I think we're hoping for that.
Mike, back to Mclean, there was a report that you guys had some kind of medical disagreement with him. Is there anything you can share about that?
No, we weren't able to make an agreement with the player, and it's unfortunate, and I'd never like to take a pick high and not be able to sign him, and I'm not happy about it. It's too bad.
Do you have a date circled for Holiday's FCL debut?
I do not, but we should be having some draft pick debuts here like imminently. I don't have a date for Jackson though.
And Matt Harvey, any sense on when we might be seeing him here?
Well, he's pitching pretty well in AAA, but our group up here is pitching pretty well too. And I think that he's definitely on the radar screen for this year. Another guy that we're talking about a lot, but we're above 500 and we're scrapping and clawing, and these guys are pitching well. So to me, I think our day-to-day major league needs are going to drive the bus for any call-ups.